Hello and welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today we are going to be going on a Hazard 5 mission with my engineer, and we're going to be setting up a build. I recently did a video with Scout about this, going over the GK2 and the boomstick. So let's talk about engineer and some of the things that I'd recommend for wanting to go on higher difficulties and just kind of the way that I play in general. So first up, let's go over the build, and we have the Warthog auto shotgun as our primary weapon. Now the Warthog can be a pretty good weapon at close to medium range. At longer ranges it can kind of struggle. The shotgun may not have the best spread. There is an option in tier 2 to help with that, but let's go through the build really quick. So first up in tier 1, we either have rate of fire or we have magazine size. I like going with the rate of fire, but magazine size is really good too. Pick whichever one of these you liked better. The rate of fire with the shotgun, at least with the base shotgun, I find rather slow, and I do like upping that a bit so that it's not as clunky as it otherwise would be. In tier 2, I really like taking ammo here, but pellets can be pretty useful. They're not entirely necessary though, because with the base shotgun you have enough damage to one-shot headshot grunts on any difficulty, assuming you have good pellet spread. If you get bad pellet spread, then unfortunately you may need to shoot them twice. So this will make it a little bit more consistent, and it will help you kill big things a little bit quicker just because you're getting more damage out of it. And our final option is choke. Choke is also really good. Unfortunately, you have two other really good options in tier 2, regardless of which one you take. So this one cuts down on your spread pattern, so you have 50% less spread. That's very useful. It makes it so hitting weak spots is even easier, hitting enemies at distance is even easier and more consistent. So all three of these are really good. It's your call as to which one you want the most. I usually go with the ammo because having those 42 extra shells is really nice. In tier 3, again, this one is completely your option. We have recoil dampener to soften the recoil of the shotgun. I don't mind the recoil of the shotgun that much, but some people do find it a little bit overwhelming. So if that happens to be something that you don't like, take this one. Our second option is reload speed. Really nice. Reload speed is always great. You could take this if you'd like. And then our last one is magazine size. I like taking this one so we go up to 8 rounds in the magazine. There is also a reload canceling trick that I'll show you in a little bit. In tier 4, we have tungsten coated buckshot. This gives you armor breaking, or we have the bigger pellets giving you 1 more point of damage. Usually bigger pellets is better here. Not in every case. If you find yourself really hating rollers, armor breaking can be better. But bigger pellets will get you a little bit more consistent damage hitting weak spots. So that's why I usually go with this. And then in tier 5, we have turret whip and we have minor adjustments. If you still want a base shotgun that's just a little bit better, I would say minor adjustments is a good option here. But turret whip is really, really nice. It lets you have a really high amount of burst damage. The way that you use this one is you build up your turret, you shoot this, and whatever your turret is currently aiming at, it will fire a high-powered shot towards it. This will overheat your turret and consume some of your turret's ammo, but it will do really high damage to whatever you hit, and it will do big splash damage. You'll know this when it happens because there's a big green explosion that goes off when you shoot it, and you'll see smoke coming out of your turrets. Then for our grenade launcher, this one is also fairly straightforward. It is a grenade launcher, and it kind of just gets better with the upgrades. So in tier 1, we have 3 options: bigger area, more ammo, and more area damage. All of these are good. I like having more ammo just so that I can break up crowds a little bit better. That's going to be like the main job of the grenade launcher for me, breaking up crowds and dealing damage to big enemies. So usually I'll go with extra ammo. Tier 2, similar option, more ammo or more damage. It's actually the same exact options. Tier 3 is where it gets a little bit weird because we have incendiary compound. This gets you fire damage on your grenades, which can be really useful for crowds. Less useful for bigger enemies in most cases. Kind of weird once it comes to overclocks, but we're not going to talk about that in this video. This is going to be non-overclocks. Armor breaking, you would think would be really good here because it would break the armor off of everything, but armor breaking is kind of wonky with the grenade launcher. It doesn't really work the way that you would think. It only really breaks the armor on the impact of the grenade. So the explosion from the grenade really doesn't have much effect on the armor of other enemies. That's kind of unfortunate. I hope that that gets changed at some point. And then we just have high velocity grenades. If you find the grenade is moving too slow, take this one. It's a pretty good option. Tier 4, we have homebrew powder. This one can randomize your damage. So if you like randomized damage and you're going for high rolls, this can be pretty decent. If you don't like the odds of getting low rolls though, maybe not take it. Nails and tape is more area effect damage. That's usually what I take because I like a bigger explosion radius, but the concussive blast is also really good. You can stun things pretty consistently with this. Well, it has 100% stun for whatever you hit with it. And then in tier 5, we have proximity trigger, which can be fun, but kind of dangerous because it will blow up as long as you shoot next to an enemy. This can also cause your grenades to bounce if there's no enemies nearby and might explode near a teammate or something, and that could be potentially dangerous. Spike grenade is the most straightforward out of these, and it just gets you more damage on direct hits with the grenade. That's usually what I take. And then you also have disabled inertia. This one is kind of weird because it transfers your velocity to the grenade, so the grenade can move independent of its trajectory based on your own velocity, which is kind of weird. It's fun, but it's kind of weird, and I don't usually use it that much. Pickaxe, take whatever you'd like. Power attack is super useful, and I'd really recommend you get it first. After that, any of these options are really good in tier 2. For your turrets, you can take 2 turrets or you can take 1 turret. 2 turrets is generally going to be better overall, at least if you can manage them, because they'll get a little bit more damage per second, and they can target 2 separate enemies. That can be really useful. But if you don't like managing 2 turrets, then just take 1 turret. It's going to serve you better at that point. This is the way that I build my turrets. So I have double turrets, quick deploy system, stun, and then defender system to get more damage. If you were going to go with 1 turret, I do like having just the Mark 1 turret. Going with really anything in tier 2, I still like the quick deploy because I just don't like having to take the time to set up the turrets forever. But you could just go with like more ammo if you want, or with the faster reload speed. Tier 3, you could go with armor breaking or stun. I don't really find that the magazine size really helps that much unless you really just want to set the turret down and forget about it for the longest time. Then it can be okay, but I think these other 2 options are a bit better. And then Hawkeye system can be really useful for just 1 turret because you can ping things for it to attack. It can also be pretty useful with minor adjustments for that same reason, or sorry, turret whip for that same reason, because you could ping 1 big enemy, know that your turret is shooting it, and then shoot the turret. For the platform gun, you can take really whatever you'd like. I like going with extra ammo, the Plascrete, because it's our only option in tier 2, and then the repellent additive. But expanded ammo bags is great too if you just want to go for all ammo with this. Rate of fire is okay, although if you're having trouble with that, you can actually pickaxe cancel the platform gun and shoot it faster. And then the mag size is fine too if you want to go with that. Any of them are okay there. Taking the lure because it's our starting grenade, and it's a pretty useful grenade. And then for the armor, I'm taking my usual armor setup. This is another thing that I'd recommend you buy everything right away for, because you do actually get extra health every so many upgrades that you just buy. Even if you're not using them, I would say buy everything in the suit first out of any of your equipment, so that way you can at least get that extra health, be a little bit tankier, survive a bit more. And then for our perks, we're running kind of my usual engineer perks and kind of the perks that I would recommend, although you can switch these around plenty. Thorns, just to keep little things off me so swarmers don't bother me as much. It's just a nice quality of life perk. I really enjoy it for just that reason alone. It keeps swarmers and jellyfish at bay. Born ready, so that I don't have to worry about reloading my platform gun, my grenade launcher, or my shotgun, depending on which weapons I'm switching between. It's really good on engineer, can be really good on gunner. And then we have resupplier, just so that we can get resupplies back faster, which is a nice quality of life perk, and we get extra health. This makes it so even if we get downed at some point and we have to go get a resupply, we'll basically be at full health after that. So, very useful. It also reloads all your weapons, so it works very similar to Born Ready as well. I'm running Dash as my active perk. This is really useful in Engineer because Engineer doesn't have the most amount of mobility out of the classes, and this will get you a little bit more mobility, as well as you could potentially jump some gaps and some other nice things with it. And then we have Beastmaster, but you could take whatever you'd like as your second active perk. This one's just useful because you get a Steve. Steve can soak up damage, and he can deal some damage, so that's kind of nice. You could go with other options, though. If you're playing in multiplayer, Field Medic is a fantastic one. Iron Will is fantastic. For Bosco, that's right, I unequipped all of Bosco's stuff for an earlier video. So the way that I usually set up Bosco is something like this. Faster mining, rockets, 1 extra down, cryo missiles, and electric rounds. Faster mining just because it's super convenient. If you see something out of reach, you can just ping Bosco to go get it. Rockets because it's our only option. 1 extra down, so we get 3 downs in total, which is pretty nice. If you're not going down too often, you could go with extra rockets if you'd like. Cryo missiles are just kind of useful on the missiles themselves because you can freeze big enemies like breeders or nexuses. That can help. And then electric rounds so that we can get a little bit more damage on enemies and slow them down. Remember to always grab your beer here, at least if it's useful. In this case, we got Rocky Mountain. This one is super useful in the mission we're going on. So we're going to take this. This can be kind of a useless or not as useful beer if you're going to the Sandblast Caverns, because it will give you the same effect, just being able to mine terrain with 1 hit. Other beers that might not be useful would be Pots of Gold, depending on how much you would need money. If you need money, then Pots of Gold can be really useful. If you don't need money, then it's not useful at all. And then Dark Morkite is also a beer that doesn't really help you unless you're going specifically on a mining mission. I would recommend taking any of the beers if you plan on going to the deep dives though, at least going in blind. Again, if you know ahead of time that there's no mining mission and your only beer is Dark Morkite, you could potentially just save your money then. Okay, so let's grab this and kind of just go over some basics for Inji here. So Inji is a really good starting class and just a really flexible class overall. Inji kind of brings something to the table in just about every situation. You're really good at holding an area. You're really good at killing things, whether that be single targets or smaller hordes. There are a couple downsides that come with playing Inji though. The main one being that you can run through ammo pretty fast with Inji. So kind of keep that in mind. I think that's by design though by the developers, because you arguably have some of the best secondaries in the game, so you don't have a whole lot of shots for them. And you also have turrets, so you basically have another gun on top of your already existing guns. So on a drill dozer mission like this, one thing that you can do is set up your turrets facing potentially behind you or facing in the direction that Dottie is going. I don't actually know where Dottie's going, so I'm not going to place my second turret just yet. I'm just going to use my primary weapon here to take out, whoops, what I can. My secondary weapon, and I remember to actually pull it out. Ow. Oh. Okay. Be on the lookout for stuff like that. Let's also try to fix Dottie up while we can. I threw out the lures. These can be very useful in these type of situations. At least if the bugs go for them. There we go. I think the lure fell down further than what I thought it did. Just take out exploders. Keep building this up. Ooh. Oh, whoops. I have Beastmaster. I could have got a Steve there. What am I thinking? Alright. Let's go slightly ahead. Throw out another one of these. And then kind of use our grenade launcher to break up some of this stuff. We're going to try to build up Dottie here too. Dottie's losing health. If you're doing this in multiplayer, then make sure only one person is fixing Dottie. The rest should be killing. Okay, we've hit our first stop. We do only have one stop for this one. There is a way to tell ahead of time too as to how many stops that you're going to get during a mission, or if you're just curious partway through. Like if you didn't read it ahead of time. You can hit escape and then look at the mission length here. If it's all the way up here, that means you're going to have 2 stops. If it's anything less than that, you're just going to have the 1 stop. So first thing I did was set up my turrets looking at Dottie, trying to protect her. This will be useful for an early warning sign if enemies start showing up. And I'm just going to grab one of these and grab as much oil shell as I can at the start. If you're playing on solo, then these take less oil overall too. And if you're playing a class like Driller, you can potentially knock down this oil ahead of time, or as soon as you get here. With your C4 or with your EPC if you're EPC mining. That can be a bit difficult to do though. Sometimes it's in some strange spots. You also don't want to do that if the oil is in easy reach of the drill dozer. There's not really a reason to do that. I don't want to venture out again because a swarm is probably going to be showing up soon. So let's head out and move on to the Hearthstone. We do only have one more stop, and we do have enough nitrate to get a resupply. So once we get there, I'll call one in. As soon as I get in here, I'm going to set up one turret looking this way and one turret looking this way. That way, hopefully, this turret starts killing things, and by the time that they're almost dead, this thing starts killing them as well. We're gonna stick with Dottie here. Okay, we're gonna throw in some power attacks as well. I recommend doing that basically whenever you can. That's gonna help you out. It'll save some ammo. And then once you start getting too far away from where your turrets are, recall them back, wait for them to come to you, and then you can reposition them. So we're going to try setting this here. And setting another one here. We're also just going to try to scare things away with the grenade launcher, because the grenade launcher has fear on it by default, so if you hit something with the grenade launcher and it takes off running away, that's probably the reason why. Alright. Going through these walls is also usually the most dangerous part of these, because you never know exactly what's going to be on the other side of it. Luckily, we got red sugar and just some grunts, so that's handy. Okay. Oh yeah, I said I would show you guys the reload trick for the shotgun too, and I've been doing it the whole time, but I haven't actually commented on it. So you can reload, cancel the shotgun to get a slightly faster reload. To do this, just hit your reload button, watch the ammo count down below, and once it changes, quickly tap your pickaxe and then let go of it, and you will, well, reload cancel your shotgun. So it'll be a little bit faster. You can do this with a couple other weapons too. The Lock 1 Smart Rifle you can do it with. The Auto Cannon you can do it with, to some extent. M1000 with the Scout you can do it. Let's see. It seems like you can kind of do it with Stubby, but it's usually not worth it, because Stubby already reloads pretty fast. Oh yeah, let's also get us a Steve. Wait, that didn't count? Did Steve die technically? I should have also been paying attention to my ammo while I was doing this. Alright, well, we're gonna have Bosco fire a rocket there. And then we're just gonna get back on here and start repairing this. I should have also set up my turrets too, because I did not think this through very well. Usually you want to get this part done first, and just get onto this stage as quickly as you can. But think ahead, unlike me. Alright, gonna set these up just here. You can set up the turrets basically anywhere around here. Oh, lost part of Dottie, that's okay. We're gonna try to take out these flying rocks. There is a way to prevent the rocks if you're playing Inji with your platform gun. You could potentially build up an overhang like this above Dottie, so long as it's high enough. Then when the rocks try to smash into it, they will break. I'm just gonna shoot them here and hope for the best, but if you wanted to ahead of time, you could set this up to where it is a little bit more well defended. Oh, also, what I'm doing, never do during multiplayer. During this stage. I've seen so many people die from doing this, where they just climb up on top and start trying to repair Dottie and then just get crushed by a rock and die. So, yeah, never do that if you can help it. Okay, I'm going to recall my sentry guns once again. The reason why I'm doing this is because once they go onto you, I can rebuild them back up, and they will be full of ammo once again. Yeah, they don't usually go for the lure out here. Try to get rid of exploders as far away from Dottie as possible if you can. That will help. Oh, another thing that can help is to be repairing this with a weapon that you want to reload with Born Ready, because if you have the weapon equipped with Born Ready and you're repairing, even though you're technically doing another task, it won't reload it. So much radiation. Alright. We're gonna kind of set that there. We'll let Bosco, our turret, and Steve kind of fight everything else for us at the moment while we're repairing this. Oh, there's the web spinner. swear I heard something spitting at us. Okay, so you're repairing this. Now, if you're engineer, you can actually kill these beams. You can pickaxe them to death like everybody can. But if you have the grenade launcher, you can actually just blow them up by pointing this at them. You can do this with any weapon that has terrain damage. It's just the grenade launcher has quite a bit of terrain damage, so it's fairly easy to do. If you're using the breach cutter or the shard diffractor, you cannot, at least normally. With certain overclocks, you can, but... Oh, and you do have to make sure that you knock off enough of the beamer in order to actually break it. Ow. Alright, well. Oh, that's okay. We can go down once here. We have our resupply there, and we still have another part of Dottie, so... Yeah, that's fine. So, let's just use our grenade launcher to kind of clear this up a little bit. And then just keep repairing Dottie. That's basically all we're going to do for this last little bit. We can out-repair the amount of damage that's being dealt here. Usually you're able to, unless you have a detonator here. If you have a detonator, leave Doretta, because the detonator won't target Doretta. She'll actually be immune to the detonator's targeting, I guess. It always targets a player. So if you can figure out who it's targeting, have that player take the detonator far away to have it blow up. That's really useful. That doesn't work with exploders, though. They will just target Doretta for whatever reason. So yeah, Engineer's pretty straightforward class. Pretty easy class to learn, even though you do have a lot to manage. But nothing, I would say, is particularly difficult to, you know, understand about at least the base kit of Engineer. You know, use the shotgun at close range and try to shoot things in the face. Pretty straightforward. You'd probably do that with just about any game. You know, use the grenade launcher for crowds or for big things. Alright, also pretty straightforward. Build your turrets up when you can, because they'll be useful for just picking off things when you have them. And your lures are great for getting things attention. You might run through ammo quickly. That is one downside of playing Engie. But hey, you can kill a lot of stuff before you run out of ammo with them. Whether that be big stuff, little stuff, or any other stuff. And honestly, your only real limiting thing, I guess, with your starting equipment, being your shotgun and your grenade launcher, is kind of the range. Neither the shotgun nor the grenade launcher is great at longer ranges. They're not terrible, but they're not as good as some other starting equipment. You know, they're not as good as the minigun and the revolver for gunner or something. Or even like the assault rifle with scout. Let's go. Here. Away we go. Take care, Busco. You do well down there, buddy. Alright, that was a pretty quick mission, pretty simple with Engineer. Escort missions can be a little bit rough, but Engineer is really good at holding an area. So that certainly helps, setting up your turret ahead of time. Remembering to get ammo ahead of time also helps. Don't do exactly what I did at the end there.